When President Trump chose me and he said, Pete, I want you to run the Defense Department, his charge to me was return that department to its warfighting mission at its core. Warfighting, lethality, meritocracy, accountability, and readiness.
Newly appointed Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth hosted his first town hall at the Pentagon on February 7th. Not only did he outline his approach to defense, he also explained a move away from diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and the need to hold to account those responsible for military failures such as the withdrawal from Afghanistan. He also drew on history.
Former Secretary Rumsfeld gave a speech on September 10th, 2001, that was about acquisitions and reform and Pentagon bureaucracy.
In this building, despite the era of scarce resources, taxed by mounting threats, money disappears into duplicative duties, bloated bureaucracy, not because of greed, but gridlock. Innovation is stifled not by ill intent, but by institutional inertia. Just as we must transform America's military capability to meet changing threats, we must transform the way the department works and what it works on.
I feel like I could give about 85% of the same speech today.
Mr. Hegseth explained that because of what happened the day after that speech, 9/11, the issues that Mr. Rumsfeld had highlighted were never really addressed.
Because a lot of those processes have become even more systemic in taking root here that cause delays, redundancies, and bureaucratic red tape.
Some might ask, how in the world could the Secretary of Defense attack the Pentagon in front of its people? To them I reply, I have no desire to attack the Pentagon. I want to liberate it. We need to save it from itself.
Through a three-pillared approach to defense, Mr. Hegseth reiterated the importance of creating a deterrent effect that maintains American dominance in the world. The first pillar, restore the warrior ethos.
Make sure that we get back to basics. Our job is to deter conflict and, if necessary, defeat and completely destroy, demoralize, and defeat our enemies. That's what we do. We do warfighting here at the Department of Defense.
Mr. Hegseth said there's already renewed excitement and enthusiasm in recruitment and puts that down to a change in focus.
Why do you get rid of something like DEI? Because from our perspective, it served a purpose of dividing the force as opposed to uniting the force.
A way to prove my inner strength and maybe shatter some stereotypes along the way.
I think the single dumbest phrase in military history is our diversity is our strength. I think our strength is our unity. Our strength is our shared purpose, regardless of our background, regardless of how we grew up, regardless of our gender, regardless of our race. In this department, we will treat everyone equally.
The second pillar, rebuild our military.
Our defense industrial base, our acquisitions process, how we rapidly field new technologies, how we learn from conflicts around the globe, how we match what we fund to capabilities and effects. There's a lot of programs around here that we spend a lot of money on that when you actually war game it don't have the impact you want them to.
Again, adopting Mr. Rumsfeld's tone, Mr. Hegseth said it was about making the taxpayers' money count.
Every dollar squandered on waste is one denied to the warfighter. That's why we're here today, challenging us all to wage an all-out campaign to shift Pentagon's resources from bureaucracy to the battlefield, from tail to the tooth.
That includes a Pentagon audit, which to the Marines out there, y'all got to figure it out. And we appreciate that. Lean and mean.
Mr. Hegseth said that at a bare minimum, by the end of 4 years, the Pentagon would pass a clean audit.
The American taxpayers deserve that. They deserve to know where their $850 billion go.
The third pillar, re-establishing deterrence.
Unfortunately, over the last couple of years, we've seen events that have occurred that have created the perception of American weakness, whether it's what happened in Afghanistan, by the way, which we're going to have accountability for, deserve accountability for what occurred in Afghanistan, for what happened on October 7th, the war that was unleashed in Ukraine. Chaos happens when the perception of American strength is not complete. And so we aim to reestablish that deterrence. And it starts with our own southern border. It starts with the defense of our homeland.
Mr. Hegseth said it wasn't just hyperbole to point out that without America, when it comes to defense against rising threats, there really is nowhere else to go.
It's us or us. And then our robust allies and partners who we incentivize to come alongside us, and that's how you create a Western force capable of ensuring not just our country and our hemisphere, but the world remains free.
Nearly 25 years after Donald Rumsfeld's speech, Mr. Hegseth is starting his term with a bold vision for the country's largest government agency, which has a near $850 billion budget and 3.4 million service members and civilians.
Now, we won World War II with 7 four-star generals. Today we have 44. Do all of those directly contribute to warfighting success? Maybe they do. I don't know. But it's worth reviewing to make sure they do.
So today we declare war on bureaucracy, not people, but processes, a campaign to shift Pentagon resources from the tail to the tooth. All hands will be required, and it will take the best of all of us.